Welcome to Flip the Script with Vic, a sacred space for honest, unfiltered, and sometimes taboo conversations between women walking the path of truth, healing, and soul remembrance. What started as my personal exploration has become a communal prayer, a podcast devoted to amplifying women's stories in their own words. I'm your host, Victoria Nielsen, intuitive healer, mama, and space holder for the divine feminine. Here, we gather as cycle breakers, mothers, mystics, creatives, witches, and wild ones, flipping the script on what it really means to be a woman in today's world. Through raw interviews, intimate solo casts, and brave conversations, we'll chat about motherhood, mysticism, psychedelics, spirituality, and more. You'll be reminded that your voice matters, that your truth matters, that you're here to walk in beauty. So be the prayer, and let's flip the script. Are you ready? Let's jump on in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Flip the Script with Vic. It's your host, Victoria Nielsen. I, as always, get to chat with another amazing woman. These interviews are like one of the best parts of my week every single week, and I hope they are yours. If you've been loving these conversations, please don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, review, share them with a friend. Today's woman is no exception. Niesha Rogers. I'm so excited we're doing this. You are a motivational speaker, a mama, a speaking coach, a guide, an event host. Like you have so many titles. No wonder you're a manifesting generator.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. You're awesome. You're a rock star in my eyes. So I just consider it an honor to even be sharing space with you. So thank you so much for having me.
Yay! I'm so excited. We met really not that long ago and honestly just clicked. Neisha leads a
Yeah.
women's connect group here in Georgia, and we had brunch together. I think it was in January.
Yeah.
And, we've chatted since then. We've met up since then. We've had business ideas since then, which I'm sure we'll share more about on the podcast. But walk us back a little bit. Who is Neisha? How did she get here? What's the
Gosh.
411?
You know what? I ask myself that question every day. Who is Nisha? Some days I just don't even know like my left from my right. But in a short nugget, I call myself a conversationalist and a media specialist. So my background comes from communications, broadcasting, TV, and I have just always been fascinated with words and with what communication can do. And so I've kind of had this journey of really just exploring the idea of how words and how communication can change people over time and impact people in different ways. And so, yeah, I my background is I was an evening news producer for a while at a number one news station, production assistant. Started my own entertainment reporter. Started my own production company called Freed Minds Productions. I have a content studio in Midtown where I shoot content, as well as my podcast called Finding Your Niche with Niche. And I do a lot of interviewing because that is just like my jam. Like sitting down, doing exactly what we're doing right now is like top three, not three, favorite things of all time to do. So yeah, I interview people on stage, conferences, panel moderating, fireside chats. If you want conscious dialogue, I'm your girl. Yeah,
I love that.
and
And
if
I
you
just saw
really
on your
ask
Instagram,
I
like
love
you
it.
interviewed T.I. Like, what?
I
I'm like,
I
Nisha has so many
know.
things in her closet. She just like can pull out and be like, oh yeah, I did this and I did this.
Yeah, I do. I try to keep it cute. Try to keep it cute and humble, as hard as it is, as a Leo.
I love it. No, you inspire me as a Leo with that fire, like, and
Yeah.
that willingness to just always put yourself out there.
Yep,
And
that's
I
true.
I love the broadcast background too because I was a journalism major, but I did writing in
Oh wow.
newspapers. And so it's
Okay.
funny, I hated newspapers. I wanted magazines. That was my dream, and actually I did. I worked in magazines for a while, but the
Cool.
newspapers were so hard because that turnaround. Like I remember
Yeah.
the first time I was given a story and told you have hours to turn
Yeah.
this around. Like you have to go talk to a source, you have to vet this, like it's going to go to print. Like I think I left the office and cried. I was in college and I just was like sobbing, like I'm not gonna be able to do this. And then I did it, and it was like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, that I can totally relate. That's how news was. It's so fast. Everything is happening in real time. You have to really be really agile and quick on your feet and sane. So I think there's a lot of transferable skills in what I used to do in media and news, and same with you. Like I did learn a lot of those skills that helped me with like what I do within my own company today with Talk Better Academy. So it's prepared me. I'll say that it was very stressful, but it did prepare me for future endeavors.
What was the thing or the catalyst that decided or helped you decide that it was time to leave? Like, I know for me, I mean, the money was terrible in magazines. And
Yeah.
also, I needed to move out of New York City. And, moving into like marketing and digital and social media, like you said, is such a natural progression
Mhm.
because of all of the skills we've learned in storytelling and connecting with people and with sources and things. But did you have a pivotal moment that was like, okay, no, I'm done with news. Like, I want to do this on my own. I want to basically have
Yeah.
my own platform.
Yeah, I think I don't think people realize this, but going to work and hearing so when you're at work, right, and you work in news, most people they come home, they watch the news, and they watch a one news episode, like the 4 o'clock show, and they hear these stories. But I've heard these stories since 8 o'clock in the morning. These terrible, awful, bad things that are happening to people all around the world. And once you keep going to work every day and you're hearing these stories like multiple times on repeat, it's very depressing and very discouraging. And so I think that was kind of just like one of my moments where I was like having an aha where I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm sad. And it's because I'm literally being fed this perpetual information about how evil the world is and how evil people can be and the reality of how evil people can be. And so that I was like, I can't like do this to myself, to my emotions, to my nervous system, always being afraid and all these things. So I was like, I got to find a way to get out of this because by just like my general default, I'm a really jovial person, really positive, really social. Um, and I always see the glass half full. And so just to be in a space where it was just so Ugh, it was just so depressing. So I was just like, I have to get out of this. But I love media because media can do a lot of really positive things. So I didn't want to take my body all the way out of the industry, and that's what made me start my communication business and my media business.
I love that because we're doing it consciously. We're doing it differently. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the way that it was done before. And honestly, now at this point, it's been like bought out by so many billionaires and whatever that,
Oh yeah.
like what is it anymore anyway? But
Mhm.
it does boggle my brain sometimes because of the growth of social media and Instagram. Everyone feels like they know the truth or they're the expert on something, and that does get a little at my heartstrings of like the world's going to have a harder time differentiating without media
Yeah.
helping. But I do think media has been more harmful than not lately with all of the clickbaiting and all of it. And I mean, we all have to play into it, right? In some capacity as we build businesses and lives. But I
Hmm.
love that like our form of rebellion is doing it the feminine
Exactly.
way, doing it differently. So tell me more
Exactly.
about Talk Better Academy. What, did you start that because you wanted to help people, or was it just natural because you were like, these are the things that I see people struggling with?
Yeah, it actually was birthed. I'm so excited about this company that I started. It was actually birthed last year, so it's kind of a baby. And I started it because as I started seeing myself getting more opportunities, picking up more momentum with speaking engagements and my visibility on social media, like an increase of that, I started getting people to ask me like, "Hey, can you teach me how you're doing that, or can you show me how you reach out to people and all the things?" I was like, okay, so that's interesting. There's a need there. And then one day I was just praying, like, okay, God, what am I actually supposed to be doing? Because I have like a big picture idea, but like, let me just start reverse engineering on how to get to that. And so I was just sitting one day and the words just came, Talk Better Academy. And so I was like, that is so interesting. What is Talk Better Academy? So essentially, what it is basically an ecosystem that I've created to really be able to coach different female founders and entrepreneurs on essentially how to talk better about their business in three capacities, which is on the spot, on stage, and on camera. And I'm starting to notice that there's a lot of need for people to really be able to communicate effectively. And it's just something that I'm really passionate about because I feel like communication is one of those things where everybody needs to be good at it. So,
Yes.
yeah, because when you're just a better, effective communicator, there's so many things that can really help you to scale in your business, to scale in your life, to increase the overall experience you have relationally with other people, and you can just learn how to talk better. And so I do that now in a couple of capacities. One of them is, of course, through one-on-one coaching, looking to start a cohort probably later this fall. And I do a free masterclass called Own the Stage, which is really fun, where women literally come on, a lot of them for the very first time ever, onto a stage. We practice mic etiquette, we
Love that.
practice their opening statements, and it's really intensive in the sense that it's hands on. And
Yeah.
so the women literally get to see, feel, experience all of the five senses, the sensation of their future self coming into their present reality. And so
Exactly.
it's a really cool experience. The women walk away really excited and happy about, what's possible for them. And I just am a
Girl, you
big,
need to charge for that. That needs to not be free. Because no,
I
but for
know.
real, like you're right. The just even the alchemy of being on a physical
Yes,
stage and
yes,
seeing seats in front of you, seeing
yeah,
the potential of your message,
yeah.
your voice, your frequency of how many beautiful souls it could affect.
It's so
That's
inspiring.
so powerful.
Yep, and it's fun. I give real time coaching, real time feedback while they're doing it. It's a whole thing. I introduce everyone like they are just the keynote, and they all come out, and the music plays, and it's a whole thing, and it's so exciting and it's so fun.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, so there's a lot of value. It's very rewarding for me to be able to see the women walk away from something that they are just really excited about. So yeah.
To feel like they're special, right? Like I just started
Mhm.
yesterday this family constellation training, which
Okay.
just even explaining that is crazy, but it's basically like the energetics between families. And it just so where was I going with this? There was a reason I was talking about family constellations. You were talking about being on stage.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
just belonging. I was
Okay.
like,
Ooh.
I'm going somewhere. But we learned and talked about one of the principles of family constellations is belonging. And it
Mhm.
really struck me yesterday that, like, yes, everyone wants to feel like they belong.
That is
Everyone
so.
wants to feel like they are seen, like they are heard, like they are
Mhm.
valued. And so, you giving women like a literal stage
Yeah.
and applauding them when they get there, giving them like their go music and like
Yeah.
letting them have that experience, that's special because it's going to be encoded in their energy.
For
You've experienced it. You're not just talking about it. You're
yeah.
actually living it. Like that's
Doing it. You're
brilliant.
on
You really
stage.
need to
You're
charge for
talking.
that, Chica.
Okay. Okay. I'm definitely gonna think about that. Now you're making my mind twirl. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's so interesting too about what I'm doing with that business is because of the three capacities, right? When you think of women who are like, okay, I'm gonna own my business, I'm gonna do that. They might do well in the business part, but they're not really good on the talking part. And so the three pillars, like the on the spot, is really key because which we experience every day, those moments that are spontaneous, or you're at a networking event and you're talking on the spot with people, or different people are engaging with you in conversation, and you're trying to figure out how do I really show up and be presentable and be able to articulate what I do clearly and concisely, whether I'm at a networking event or whether I'm meeting somebody in line at the post office and I just happen to connect with them and want to tell them about what I do. So that on the spot piece is really exciting. I'm going to start doing events on literally teaching people who hate networking on how to network, because there's actually tactical things that you can do to be better at not being socially awkward. And then of course the on the stage is the on stage portion that I do right now, and then on camera is another training that I'm looking to provide for people who want to be on podcasts and talk about their businesses just like I'm doing fluently, as well as any other capacities of them being in front of a camera, like even content itself.
Yes,
So
the
yeah.
content need is there. Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I literally just joined a visibility challenge on Instagram. Go Rachel Bell.
It is.
Because more women want to be able to do it and to feel comfortable because to your point, it's hard to be concise. Many of us are not concise or we trip over our words and it's just natural. You have to practice.
Yeah.
It's like a skill, it's a muscle like anything else. And I love that you're helping people network differently because that's what we're hoping to do together with our
Mhm.
upcoming event series here in
Yay.
Atlanta. Yay, the Zodiac Mixer. So
Woo.
it's still launching, still in progress, but we have a wait list up. If you want to know more, we're hoping to curate these Zodiac themed monthly events here in Atlanta for founders, socially
Mhm.
curious folks, entrepreneurs of all sorts to really just lean into your zodiac sign and the energy of your season, your birthday month,
Yes.
and have it feel different. Like, yes, come and network with other Geminis, but also like maybe get a flash tattoo and, maybe get a drink at the bar, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I think and with me like going to a lot of events, speaking at a lot of events, I'm so excited about this one in particular because it's just something that I have never seen. And so I'm excited to partner with you on this experience because it'll be something that people can look forward to that is not the per use in terms of, oh, I'm just going to like another event. This is just another event in Atlanta. No, we're curating something that's gonna be really special, really specific, and really intentional. And the nature of what we're already doing is you're already going to be connecting with people who are like you before you even walk in the door. You're going to have that sense of belonging because everyone who's going to be in the room is going to be your same sign. And so it's just the connectivity is already part of the fabric of what we are creating. And so it's going to be amazing. I'm excited.
I know. It lets my Gemini rising come out to play to do all these like different things and
Yeah.
brainstorm and events are part of my bread and butter too with I have a catering background and did catering and events for many, many years. So did my mom. And I had a love-hate relationship with it for a little bit, but now I'm like, you know what? They're really fun to plan. We get to
Yeah.
have fun being together. Like I'm really, this month of May is about joy. If you haven't listened to the May energy forecast, please go listen to it on the podcast because it really talks about joy being a form of rebellion this month and that having fun is okay. And it's more than okay. That actually that play and that connection is what's going to bring you alive again. It's what's going to make you feel good about yourself because if you don't have that sense of belonging, perhaps in your everyday life, like finding a group of folks, even just for a couple of hours, that see you for who you are can
Yeah.
be like truly life changing.
Yeah, that's huge. And what how did you describe it again? I love that. You said joy is a form of rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. Like I think our happiness, you know what, especially in the face of like everything happening, like it's okay to be happy and it's okay to show people that they can be happy and playful and have fun and
Yeah,
that actually magnetizes more to you when you do because if you're not having fun while you're doing it, like what's the point? I think.
exactly. That is so true. I love that. I am going to take on that. I'm going to take on that challenge this weekend and use joy as a form of rebellion. That's great. I love it.
I love that. Is there anything like on your heart today, whether it's about women in business, communication,
Yeah.
or just being a woman that's so visible? I'm sure it's not easy as you grow your business, right? You're putting yourself out there every single day. Like, are you
Yeah.
finding that you get hateful comments online, or how do you deal with like that
Yeah.
piece of the
You know,
puzzle?
that's such a good question. This is interesting. What I have noticed, and I've noticed it a lot in my one-on-one coaching and just in general as I talk to more women about using their voice or about communicating effectively, I'm finding a through line. And the through line that I'm noticing is that a lot of women, they would identify themselves as someone who used to talk a lot, who used to be very social, who used to be very outspoken. And then something happened in their life or in their journey or in their adulthood, and it kind of silenced them. And now they're silent and they are having the feeling of inadequacy in terms of like taking ownership over what they have to say, over how they expressing how they feel about something. And so I'm just thinking like that is just such an interesting thing that I'm finding with a lot of women that are like, no, I used to like talk a lot and I used to be social, but then like something happened, an isolated incident or just something that compounded over time, and now I just feel like I cannot speak. I cannot speak. I cannot speak up. I cannot speak clearly. And so I just think that's so interesting. Just as women and females, the experience that we have with how to even really talk to ourselves, the stories that we tell ourselves, and that's a really important like pillar that I try to incorporate within the coaching. Is like, yeah, it's nice to be able to speak to other people clearly, to be able to pitch your business and what you say, but I think most importantly is like, how do we talk to ourselves? And
Yes.
I think that level of communication and doing the inner work, um, It's not easy and it's not comfortable, but I think it's so necessary and it's so important. And then the second that you really do that, you allow yourself to be open to what is really possible. You allow yourself to be broken open once you address some of the realities that you face in terms of like how you actually talk to yourself and how to not be
Hmm.
silent. You know, how to get
Yes.
out of that, whatever that is of you feeling like you have been
Can't take
silent.
up space. No,
Hmm.
truly. I mean, I've told this story many times, but in elementary school, I had a little girl that told me that I thought I was all that. And like, I swear after that, like a little part of me dried up, and it took
Ah,
until like my 30s to
yeah,
come back. And it doesn't have to be trauma with a capital T. It could be a little incidents like that when your confidence got nicked when you were little that you internalized or you kept with you and it stays this little hard pebble
mm,
within you until you're ready to heal it. And that is such a beautiful point about the self-love because the more that you love yourself, then you have your own armor. It doesn't matter what anyone else
absolutely.
says. Like, and
Yeah,
then you believe your own truth and the words that you say to yourself matters. How you talk to yourself matters.
absolutely.
Because we're a lot meaner to ourselves, I find, than we would ever be to a friend.
Hmm.
And can be super critical. When having a little bit more curiosity and kindness would benefit
Yeah.
all of us.
100%. And I think another big thing that I've been thinking about, something that you actually just mentioned, like how we would never be that mean to a friend. I'm at a really interesting like intersection in my life, 37, and I'm starting to really think more about friendship and like what does it mean as an adult, and I've been asking people just casually here and there, like, do they have a best friend? You know, like sometimes I'll see people on Instagram or I'll see like different girls hanging out and it just they are like talking every day, they almost do everything together, and I'm starting to ask people like, am I the problem? Because I don't have like friends like that. Like I know a lot of people and I have friends, but like like, am I at the point in my life where I'm like, I want a best friend to be able to turn to, where I'm like, my husband's driving me crazy, or these kids are driving me crazy, or I'm driving me crazy. And I was just like, I don't really have that per se, and I'm starting to really be curious about, is that something that I want? Like, is it possible? How does it even happen? Where do I go? Where do I meet my best friend? And so yeah, so I think that is interesting. And I'm thinking of doing a series on that on Instagram on like, hey, me being 37, trying to find my best friend.
I
Um,
really think you should. People would
yeah,
follow that because you either, I mean, I have a best childhood friend that we're still, we don't talk every day, but we talk pretty
yeah,
consistently. And then my other business partner, I would say, is my like best friend that we talk all day, every
yeah.
day. But we met online, Nisha. Like we met
Wow.
online a few years ago, 2 years ago, three. Shit, when was that? Our first
Dang.
retreat together was in
Really?
2024. Yeah. So we met 2 years ago on the internet. Like, there's hope for you yet.
Hey, she's out there somewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, she's not in Atlanta. She lives in New York, So there
Okay.
are, some restrictions to that. I wish she was here. Like our kids could play together and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But friendship as a woman, I mean, I turned 37 this weekend, like
Hmm.
it's such an interesting topic because I don't know about you too. Like my husband has really close friends, but guy friendships are different than girl friendships. Like
Yeah, for sure.
girls need to be witnessed by one another. We actually like need to support one another and
Mhm.
need to be in community and come together. So
Yeah.
whether it's a best friend or a group of friends, I feel like every woman needs those ride or dies in her life that are
Yeah.
there to support her. And like that when you're really healing and coming into your womanhood, like you will heal those sisterhood wounds because so many of us have sisterhood wounds. And
Yeah.
that's maybe why like we've pushed that away or we haven't thought about it or,
Yeah. Yeah.
what have you. I don't see you as having a sisterhood wound, but you know,
When
I
I
could see you
think
being a guy's girl though, where like it's easier just to have guy friends. That's how
yeah,
I was for a
literally, that
very
is
long
my
time.
high school. I have just always, well, I feel like it's really 50-50. And I
Yeah.
still feel like I'm that way. And I don't know if I get part of it from my mom, I believe, but I am still to this day like part tomboy, But then like I will put on I like still love putting on heels and putting on
I
makeup.
know. I love your Instagrams when you're all dressed up. I'm like, damn, she has a good wardrobe.
I love dressing up. Like I'm very girly, and then I'm also like not girly. And so yeah, so my whole life I've always had like kind of 50-50, been really able easily to get along with guys and girls. And so yeah, I think when I started to ask this question and I started to kind of like, okay, what look at do some inner work, like what is happening? And a lot of people helped me realize this too, but they said that it's also partly because of your lifestyle and your husband being in the military. You didn't stay anywhere like really long enough to like develop it, so you're just like bouncing around all these places. But a lot of the women that you see that are like really close and cleaned up have like lived together, like they kind of went to high school
Yeah.
together and they're still in the same state, so they like do life together. And I was like, oh, that's such an interesting point. And
No,
I
that's
didn't.
really true. Like as a
Yeah.
military spouse, you have such a different experience, and
Yeah.
especially if you're moving to different bases. I mean, I know
Yeah.
nothing about that, but I mean that's super true. Like you would
Yeah.
not, have been anywhere to establish that,
Yeah.
or you're alone because he's deployed or he's somewhere else, and then you're dealing with the kids, and so it's like
Hmm.
friendship. What's that? Like I'm just
Yeah.
surviving.
Yeah, and I think, and I didn't realize that until someone had pointed that out, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense, and that's probably one of the factors as to why I'm in this position that I am in now. And I think the other thing that I would contribute or attribute to this current level of me still trying to find my best friend is being so ambitious about like my career and about my goals. I didn't like create space to be like spending time with like people a lot. Like I do go out and I do stuff socially, but like in terms of like the actual work that it takes, the intentionality that it takes, I guess, to even develop a friendship deeper, I didn't do that work. And so now I'm just like, okay, yeah, like go, 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 goals, ambitions, all the things, overly ambitious. And then I just look it up and I'm just like, where's my best friend? So it's those two things I think for me is being a military wife
Yeah.
and then just being like a little overly ambitious with a lot of things and not like taking the time to be more intentional about the development
Of
of the
those
friendship.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, guess what? You have awareness of it now. Like that's
Yes.
the first step. That's the most beautiful
Yes.
thing I tell all of my clients. Awareness is the first step, because then you can
Mm-hmm.
decide to do something about it. So I love that. If anyone listening wants to apply to be Nisha's best friend,
Yes,
send
please. I'm
her a
taking
DM on
admission.
Instagram or check out the series. Where can everyone see you and get a hold of you, Nisha? Let us know.
Yes, please. On Instagram, you can follow me at Finding Your Niche, spelled like my name, Neish, uh, as well as LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok, if you know what I mean. I need to, though. I need to be on TikTok.
I know
So
it's
you
my
can
goal
find
to
me
do it
there.
more. I try. I'm like,
I just try. I hasn't really stuck. It hasn't stuck with me.
same,
And then
same.
of course my podcast. If you're interested, the kind of crux of that is find your niche with niche. I talk with people, entrepreneurs, founders who have found their niche. Essentially, they have found their purpose. They're calling their lane on how they were able to become successful in the highest versions of themselves that we all see today. And they tell their stories and their trials, triumphs of how they got to where they are. So that's a lot of fun. And you
Love
can
that.
find my podcast on anywhere that you listen to podcasts as well as YouTube. So yeah, I find your niche with niche.
Yay. And
Anything
talkbetteracademy.com
else?
for any of
Yeah.
your speaking
Yep.
cohorts, and zodiacmixer.com if you're in Atlanta to sign up for the wait list. Give us
Yeah.
your birthday month so we can reach out when we are starting to really celebrate you. We're hoping to get launched here in June, so super soon, but already lots of information up on the site. Get on the wait list. I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here, Neisha. I just love this
Awesome.
conversation. I love that we have a lot of the same values, a lot of the same wishes for the world. And I
Yeah.
really do believe that communication is such a powerful tool, and that, to your
Yeah.
exact point, we're all better when we can communicate better. So thank you for
Hmm.
being here. Thank you
Yeah.
for
This was
listening,
a delight.
everyone.
Thank
Be good to
you.
one another. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Mwah.